Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this Easter Bunny themed cake. Today's video is also a collaboration with the lovely Cassia over at Just Cake It, so be sure to check out her adorable video as well. I have added all the links to her social media accounts in the description box below. To get started, I'm using two 7-inch cakes that I've cut in half, and I'm going to be stacking those up with some vanilla and chocolate buttercream. I'm using my small offset spatula to make sure my layers are nice and even, and once it's all stacked up, I'm going to be applying a thin layer of my buttercream all around my cake. I'm using some coffee buttercream for the outside of my cake, and I just added a little bit of espresso powder to my vanilla buttercream. This thin layer of buttercream is going to ensure that none of these crumbs end up in my final ice, so once my entire cake is covered, I'm going to pop that into the fridge for about 25 minutes. Once you can touch your buttercream and none of it comes off your finger, it's ready for the final layer of icing. So I'm applying quite a heavy-handed amount all the way around my cake, and then I'm going to be using my bench scraper just to make sure the sides are nice and smooth, and taking my offset spatula again and just dragging all of that buttercream that built up along the top edge right into the middle. I'm going to pop that back in the fridge to chill, and in the meantime, I'm going to start with my fondant. I have this really pale green fondant that I'm going to be rolling out onto my cornstarch surface, and I'm looking for about 1/8 of an inch thickness. I'm going to pick that up with my fondant roller and then drape it right over my chilled cake, and using my hands and my fondant smoother, I'm going to push all the air out from the top, and then just working my way down, pulling out the skirt and smoothing the sides until I reach the bottom. Next, I'm using a pizza cutter, or you could also use a sharp knife, and just trimming away the excess and then running over the entire cake with my fondant smoother one more time. For the painted grass on my cake, I'm taking an itty bitty tiny amount of the green leaf food coloring from Wilton and mixing it with some food grade alcohol so it's a really light watercolored effect. We don't want it to be too dark. And I'm going to just use my fine tipped paintbrush and add little strokes all the way along the bottom of my cake, making sure none of them are too similar. You want to have different thicknesses, different heights, and you can see the color is just really pale. Apologies that this part is a smidge out of focus, but you can see that I've darkened the color a tiny bit, and I'm just going over the light grass that I drew just to give it a little more contrast. And then lastly, I just dipped my paintbrush into straight up food coloring without any alcohol added to it, and added a couple little spots around the cake that I just thought looked cute. And then just to give it a little more color, I took some purple and added like little lavender bits. You can see that I definitely filmed this not completely centered, but you can see what I'm doing up in the corner there. For my bunny topper, I have some really pale pink And I'm going to make the body and the head first. So for the body, I'm rolling out a ball and making sure there's no seams in my fondant. And then I'm just going to shape it into this fat teardrop kind of thing. I rolled out another ball and made it a little more oval for the head. And then for the ears, I rolled out these longer teardrop shapes and just smooshed them down until I got this shape. I added my body to the cake, and then using a wooden skewer, I secured that in place and made sure there was enough sticking up for the head to attach to. Excuse the close-up of my food-colored stained hands, but for my little feet, I rolled out this bean shape and then flattened it a bit, and then using my fondant tool, I just scored in some little toes. I attached my feet using some water, and then for the arms, I just rolled out this long, snaky shape. To finish off my bunny's face, I rolled out a little piece of fondant and secured it on the very front for his snout. And then marked up a little line right in the center and added another little ball for the very bottom for his mouth. And then using my fondant tool, I just scored in a little circle so that I could add a little bit of pink in there to make it look like his tongue showing. I rolled out another little ball of pink fondant for his nose, and then I used my fondant tool to mark in the little whisker indents on his snout and also the 2 eye sockets. I rolled out 2 little black balls for his eyes, and then I had something that looked like this. I wanted to add some white for his inner ear, so I just rolled out some white fondant and then eyeballed the shape, and then just attached those into the middle of my ears using a little bit of water. To give my bunny a little bow, I rolled out some more of my pink fondant, and then I cut out this like S kind of shape, but not really, and I pinched the middle and then both ends and brought the ends into the center and just kind of played with it until I got the shape that I wanted. Next, I popped the head onto the body of my bunny, and you can use some water for this if you want to, but I just popped it on there and it stayed just fine. And then I added a little ball of fondant to the middle of my bow and placed that just off center on the body. I put some cocktail sticks into the middle of each of my ears and then just arranged those on the head how I thought they looked cute. For the Easter eggs on my cake, I rolled out some white fondant and then used 3 different sized stencils that I made for myself, and I'll link the one that I used below, and then I just cut out a bunch of those. I placed my eggs all around the cake, just making sure to mix up the different sizes. And then again, I took purple and pink and yellow and green, I think, and blue, and added a tiny little bit of my food coloring to some food grade alcohol so that the color was really light, and then just made up the design on each egg, so you can do whatever you want. And then I went back in with a darker color and just kind of gave them some highlights so they didn't look so flat. And then the very last thing I did was rolled out these little balls of white fondant and shaped them into eggs, and then placed them all around the top of my cake, and using more of my watercolors, just speckled each one or drew some little lines on them to make them look like Easter eggs. And this was the final result, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out Just Cake It's video and subscribe to her channel. I will see you in the next one.